So we're going to be looking at rotations, and before we look at any formal questions, I want us to get an intuitive idea what this would look like if we had a clock. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the X and Y axis on here. And imagine that when we say clockwise for rotation, we're going to usually say it's a 90-degree clockwise turn, 180 degrees clockwise, or 270 degrees clockwise. And that means we're going to be going around like we would a normal clock, which is around this way. Now do note we could say counterclockwise, but there's a way just to make that equal to clockwise, so we can always keep it just consistent for us. And let's get an intuitive idea of what's happening here. So if we had a dot, point A here at 1 o'clock on the outside of this clock, we said where would it be 90 degrees later? Well, this would take us 3 hours later, which would be 4 o'clock way over here, and that would be a prime. Notice that the distance from the origin, which is right here in the middle, shouldn't change. If we took point B, which is, let's say it's right here is point B, and we say where would it be 180 degrees? Well, it looks like it's just a little bit after 1, so we kind of take it 6 hours later, and we take it about right here. I'm freehanding this, so it's not going to be perfect by any means. That should be B prime. The other one was B. So let's start that, delete that. And the last one we'll just take a look at is, let's say this is C right here, and we want to do a 270 degree rotation around the origin. Well, this would be 90 degrees right there, another 90 degrees, and then finally another 90 degrees, and that's going to be 270. So that's an intuitive look at it. So I am going to write the rules down. I don't want you to memorize them, just write them down and apply them. So what this means is if we do a 90-degree clockwise turn, the x comma y is going to become a y comma negative x. And we're going to go over what this actually means. And this rule will apply for all the 90-degree turns, 180-degree turns, 270-degree turns that are all clockwise. Also note that turning something 90 degrees clockwise is the same thing as doing it 270 degrees counterclockwise. So we could say 270 degrees counterclockwise. 180 degrees clockwise is the same thing as 180 degrees counterclockwise. And 270 degrees clockwise is the same thing as 90 degrees counterclockwise, and note that there are 360 degrees in a circle. So whether you're given a point or a polygon, what you want to do first, at least what I would recommend, is write down what the coordinate points are. So A is 1, 5, B is 4, 3, and C is going to be 3, 1. And now I'm going to take the time for the 90-degree clockwise is to apply the rule. The xy becomes y minus x for each of the points there. So I'm going to have my A prime, B prime, and C prime. So my A was 1, 5, and I flipped this to become 5, and I changed the sign of the x. So 5, negative 1, and of course that should be in parentheses. My B is 4, 3, so I switch it. So it's 3, negative 4 because I have to switch the x point, the sign of it. And my C was 3, 1, so I flip the x and y around, so it becomes 1, negative 3 because I have to switch the x value. And then we can actually plot those points and make the triangle. My A prime, my B is 3, negative 4 for B prime. And my C is 1, negative 3. Note my triangle should look the same. The area should be the same, and the angle measurements should be the same. The only mistake may just come because of human error with my graphing, but it looks to be the same. So I'm going to apply the rule for B for the 180 degrees turn. So this is going to be right down my A prime, B prime, and C prime. So we started with 1, 5. And all we have to do for this is switch the sign, so it's going to become negative 1, negative 5. My B, which was 4, 3, will become negative 4, negative 3. And my C, which was 3, 1, will become negative 3, negative 1. And now I want to plot these points and then draw straight lines that connect them all. And again, the angles look to be the same and the area looks to be the same, so it's probably pretty good. And then let's go and do the rotate the 270-degree clockwise turn. And again, we're going to write down our A prime, B prime, and C prime. Our A was originally 1, 5. So applying the rule, we switched the X and Y around, but this time we changed the sign of the Y. So it was 5, and now it's going to be a -5, and then the X will be 1. The B was 4, 3. Switch the X and Y around, so it's going to be 3, 4, and we have to change the sign of the X there to a -3. And 3, -1. Switch the X and Y around, it'll be 1, -3, and now we want to plot these points. And I'm glad I checked this because I just made a little mistake there. That should be -1, 3. Always good to check your work, because when I was going to plot it, it was going to be over like here, and I thought, well, that doesn't work well. So -1, 3 is going to be right here. That's going to be our C prime, and then we connect the dots.